Hey everyone, welcome back to ETF Decoded. Today we're talking about something truly fascinating. What if I told you the next trillion-dollar industry isn't on Earth? Yeah, sounds crazy, right? But it's true. This time, the biggest economic boom might be happening up there. From satellites and rockets to space-based internet, defense systems, and even tourism, the space economy is growing faster than most people can imagine. In this video, we'll explore who's leading this revolution, which breakthrough technologies are making it possible, and, maybe the most exciting part, how you can actually invest in this massive opportunity. So, buckle up, and let's launch right in. Let's start with the big picture. Right now, the global space economy is already worth over $600 billion, and analysts expect it to cross the $1 trillion mark before 2030. That's not just growth, that's transformation. But this story isn't just about rockets and astronauts anymore. It's about infrastructure, it's about data, and it's about how everything we do down here, from communication to defense, navigation, even weather forecasting, depends on what happens up there. Think about it. When you open Google Maps, check the weather, or watch live global events, you're already relying on space technology. The space economy today can be seen as a three-layer structure. First, we have the infrastructure layer, the hardware that makes everything else possible. Rockets, launch services, and satellites. This is where companies like SpaceX, Rocket Lab, and others build the literal highways to space. Second, the application layer. This is where space technology meets daily life. GPS navigation, satellite internet, remote sensing, and weather systems. Every time a ship crosses an ocean or a plane plots a route, this layer is working quietly in the background. And finally, the new frontiers layer. Things like space mining, orbital manufacturing, and yes, even tourism. These might sound like science fiction, but billions are already being invested to make them real. Each of these layers opens up new business models and fresh investment opportunities. And that's why so many investors, from governments to individuals like us, are now looking toward the stars for growth. So, who are the main players in this new space race? We can roughly group them into three categories: the giants, the disruptors, and the enablers. Let's start with the giants. These are the legacy names: SpaceX, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and Northrop Grumman. They're the backbone of the industry, building rockets, satellites, and spacecraft for decades. They've worked closely with governments, landing billion-dollar contracts for defense, communications, and deep space missions. Then we have the disruptors. These are the young, hungry innovators, companies like Rocket Lab, Astra, and Relativity Space. They're rewriting the rules with smaller, cheaper, faster launch systems. Instead of massive rockets, they're building compact ones, bringing agility to an industry that used to move at a snail's pace. And then there's Planet Labs and Black Sky. They've launched fleets of small satellites that image Earth every single day. These companies collect real-time, high-resolution data used in agriculture, logistics, defense, and even climate monitoring. That information, it's like digital gold. And finally, the enablers. These are companies that aren't strictly space companies, but still play a massive role. Think Amazon with Project Kuiper, working to build its own satellite internet network, or Apple, integrating satellite connectivity into iPhones. They're bridging the gap between outer space and everyday life. Even governments are changing the way they operate. NASA, ESA, and other agencies aren't competing with the private sector anymore. They're partnering with it. They outsource launches, share data, and collaborate on lunar missions. It's a whole new kind of teamwork, one that's accelerating innovation faster than ever before. So really, space isn't just science fiction anymore. It's a living, expanding business ecosystem, and the competition is heating up. Now, let's talk about what's actually making this possible. The space economy's growth is powered by a handful of revolutionary technologies. First, reusable rockets. This was a total game changer. SpaceX broke the old belief that rockets had to be used once and thrown away. Now, with reusable rockets, launch costs have dropped by as much as 90%. That's like making air travel affordable for the first time. Second, artificial intelligence. AI is now everywhere in the space industry. It handles autonomous navigation, tracks space debris, and optimizes communication between satellites. It's making operations faster, safer, and way more efficient. Third, miniaturization. Satellites that used to weigh several tons now fit inside something the size of a backpack. That means more launches, lower costs, and way more innovation. And finally, in-orbit manufacturing. Companies are experimenting with 3D printing directly in space. Imagine building replacement parts or entire structures in orbit. No gravity, no shipping delays, no launch costs. It sounds futuristic, but it's already happening. All of this combined is turning the space economy into something that's not only profitable, but sustainable for the long term. Now, let's get to the fun part. How can you invest in all of this? You don't need to build rockets or start a billion-dollar company. You can gain exposure to the entire ecosystem right now through space-themed ETFs. These funds let you invest in dozens of companies working across different parts of the space economy, from manufacturing to data services, all in one move. Here are 3 of the top ETFs in this space. First, ARK Space Exploration and Innovation ETF, ARKX. Managed by ARK Invest, this fund doesn't just focus on space companies. It also includes innovators in AI, robotics, drones, and 3D printing, the technologies that make space exploration possible. With over $500 million in assets, ARKX gives you broad exposure to the entire ecosystem. Second, Procure Space ETF, UFO. This one is for those who want pure space exposure. UFO focuses on companies earning most of their revenue directly from space: satellite operators, launch providers, and space infrastructure firms. It's one of the cleanest plays if you want to say, I invest in space. Third, SPDRS and P. Kensho Final Frontiers ETF, ROKT. ROKT takes a slightly different angle. It doesn't just cover space, it also includes deep-sea exploration and other extreme frontiers. So you get exposure to companies pushing the boundaries of human exploration, both above and below Earth. These ETFs give you instant diversification, a way to participate in the entire space economy without trying to pick individual winners. And you don't need huge capital or insider knowledge to start. But there's one more important piece of this puzzle. While these funds capture most of the space industry, the biggest player, SpaceX, is still private. It's not listed on any stock exchange. So you can't just buy it like you would buy Tesla or Apple. However, there's a back door. It's called Destiny Tech 100, ticker symbol DXYZ. This company invests in top private tech firms that are usually only available to venture capitalists. And here's the cool part. About 52% of its portfolio is SpaceX. So when you buy DXYZ, you're indirectly investing in SpaceX. It's one of the very few ways regular investors can own a piece of that story. For anyone who's ever dreamed of investing in SpaceX, this might just be your ticket. So where do we go from here? Over the next decade, we're likely to see lunar bases, asteroid mining operations, and even orbital solar energy projects. Each of these ideas could unlock entirely new industries and new fortunes. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the space economy, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments.